We like to talk about cartoons. That much should be obvious. And admittedly, a lot of the time we tend to be negative to get viewers in the door. Though we always try to make it clear how much we enjoy the cartoons we talk about. So what show am I looking at? Before we get into that, you already know what I'm going to say. If you end up liking the video and want to see more of this kind of stuff, be sure to like and subscribe because it helps out a lot. Well, let's do it. If you haven't seen the title of the video somehow, then I'm talking about a cartoon that I truly believe was the gateway to being a weeb. And you know what? The show was actually really good. That's right, it's Kappa Mikey. Before we get into the plot, I want to talk about what comes before the show, and somehow one of the best parts of it, the intro song, and it is really, really good. And as soon as I looked up who performed it, it all clicked for me. You see, Hey Hey Look Look was performed by the Beat Crusaders. And if you don't know who that is, they did the intro for the Beck anime, hit in the USA. And if you don't know that song, I implore you to look it up. I'll wait. It's a top tier anime opening, and you won't be able to change my mind on this. They also made the 4th Bleach opening if you're more familiar with that. They're really good at making fun, catchy, upbeat songs, and that's no different here. It's insanely infectious, and every time I think about this show, I can't help but sing the song. This is also the era when Western cartoons wore their Japanese influence on their sleeves, so we had openings by Japanese bands, Teen Titans and Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go being some examples of that. Still, the Kappa Mikey intro really stands out because it has such a different vibe, which makes sense seeing as this is a full-on comedy rather than a blend of action and comedy. All in all, the Kappa Mikey opening is good. Alright, so what's the show even about, is what you're probably wondering. Okay, so in America, there's this failed actor named Mikey Simon who bombs every audition he does because he kinda sucks at acting. A lot. While lamenting his place in life, a scratch-off hits Mikey in the face. And when fate beats you over the head like it's done to Mikey, you gotta scratch that ticket. And so he does. And he wins. What he wins isn't money, no. He gets to be the star of a tokusatsu show called Lilymoo. You see, over in the land of the rising sun, Lilymoo has fallen out of favor and the ratings are trash. The head honcho, Ozu, wants to shut it down, but the cast is able to convince him to hold off on canceling if they can find a new main character. What could possibly go wrong when you leave the fate of your show up to gambling odds? That's right, everything. But they got extremely lucky that the ticket flew all the way to America and into Mikey's hands. Once everything's in motion, Mikey flies over to Japan and basically becomes an instant hit, saving the show pretty easily. They didn't even wait to see if he was a good actor. They saw the gaijin and said, perfect. But he's fine. It's okay, acting-wise at least, but I'll circle back around to that. It's a bit hard for Mikey to act at first since he let all the fame go to his head immediately, and he also has to learn to like and listen to his castmates. For most of the show, it usually follows the same pattern. The episode starts off with the Lilymoo cast filming an episode and inevitably screwing it up. Then the bulk of the episode is Mikey and the gang engaging in some Japanese-flavored shenanigans. Boom bam boom, someone, usually Mikey, learns a valuable lesson and applies that to the scene they messed up earlier. A lot of the fun in Kappa Mikey, in my opinion, is reveling in the madness and craziness of the other show that takes place in this highly fictionalized anime like Japan. Kappa Mikey takes the fun visual gags and cranks it up to 11. In most of the scenes, there's a lot going on at any given moment, and it gives you barely any time to breathe. Even cuts to different scenes have little segments with cute dancing sushi that are so fun to look at. Look at them go. Delightful. Even now, it's so fun to watch it again. It actually made me laugh a couple of times. Partially, I feel it's because if there's a bad joke, we get no time with it. And while that's true for the good jokes, at least you remember the good ones. Okay, you might also remember the bad ones, but that doesn't fit my narrative. In addition to the visual gags, the dialogue is surprisingly snappy and matches the pace of the show well. The characters play off of each other, and it lends itself to a lot of funny jokes. It's super referential and doesn't take itself too seriously, which goes a long way in making it age well. It was also in on the joke, so it never felt like I was laughing at the show, but with it. And there were so many references, and while they were usually surface-level anime weeb stuff, I was a kid and knew none of it. Japan seemed so foreign to me, and that added a lot to the show. I was Mikey, and that gave me a connection to the show. I was ready for the next episode because I, like Mikey, was gonna see some crazy stuff. I talked about it a bit, but another interesting part of the show is the characters. Essentially all the main characters, save for Mitsuki and maybe Guano, were raging assholes. It wasn't really something you saw in cartoons, and it was a cool change of pace. Mikey let all the fame go to his head and was incessantly cocky. Gonard was dangerously stupid, and I'm certain half of his actions in the show were from a place of malice. Lily is a narcissist who hates the fact that Mikey is the star and isn't having a good day if Mikey's having one. Ozu's an out-of-touch, greedy businessman who cares more about money and ratings than anything. And Yes Man is literally a yes man. And a bootlicker, and has no personality of his own. What I'm saying is that they all suck. A lot of the problems they face in the show are their own fault, and you know what? It's fun. It was rarely frustrating thanks to the show's formula. They almost always learn their lesson and put their money where their mouth is by applying it to the scene they messed up at the beginning of the episode. And it wasn't like the lessons fully changed them or anything. It was believable. They still made mistakes, and at their core they were more or less the same. But sometimes they were a little more cognizant of other people. Their learning was more for us, the viewer, to take away a lesson and to look at them and know what not to do. The only thing that annoyed me was how Mitsuki kept going for Mikey. You can do better. Respect yourself. Ooh, dancing sushi. All in all, I really like Kappa Mikey. I can't even say it's a guilty pleasure because I legitimately think it's a good show. Go check it out yourself if you don't believe me. It's on YouTube, so you can type in Kappa Mikey Episode 1 and watch it. Side note, I love that I can watch most of the cartoons from my childhood on YouTube now. Alright, if you enjoyed the show, leave a like and let me know some other cartoons from your childhood I should look at. I read all the comments, so any suggestion is welcome. And subscribe if you want to see more from us. Oh, and we have a Patreon if you want to support us more, but no pressure. But before you go buying sushi to dance with, have a good day.